right, so I'm just going to start cleaning this out. Just wet my, yeah, and I got some lacquer in there, and it's just to let you know. Okay, so I'm not putting any pressure. I'm just getting my bristles inside and then twisting them. Same thing with this. I kind of rotate my bristles as I'm going back and forth. And if I want to get in behind some of the mechanisms inside the gun here, and never force, never put like steel on steel in the sense. Right, so, and I go in underneath the trigger here only because it does get some pushback and air currents for over time. It'll pick up some overspray and it can collect in there and also start messing up with your trigger mechanism in the sense of ease of the needle sliding in and out. And it's good to be thorough in your cleaning. Always. If you have a dirty gun, you'll start malfunctioning on you. And you just make sure that you do wear eye protection of a sort. This is fluid, so it can definitely splash into your facial area. Get a little brush. Right down the middle there. You push it through the end. You may see some debris come out if it hasn't been cleaned for a while, which nutty. Always clean as you go. Okay, so my gun is now done. And I'm just going through the air cap. All right. My air cap. Very important that you keep your air cap clean and free of any obstruction in through the holes. This is what actually makes your spray pattern either good or bad. Now, we can go through great detail when it comes to air disbursement and the fluid viscosities and all the ratios and such. But goes quite extensive to get that perfect balance of air versus fluid and to the distance of what you're spraying. I usually rub my fingers and thumb around the trigger point and just make sure there's no clumping there of any sort. You want it perfectly smooth. You want to make sure you check your tip, make sure it hasn't never been damaged. It's imperative that you don't bend or drop the needle. If it at all gets distorted, it will mess up your spray pattern. And so, how do you know your air cap is screwed? Well, if you turn your fan opposite way, if it follows it and it goes from up to down, and the spray pattern is heavy on one side and thin on the other, and that just rotates with it, it's just simply dirty. But if it stays the same, it's most likely something's affected it and it's not going to go away. Either you're going to be living with that compromised piece of equipment or you're going to have to replace it to get a perfect spray pattern again. So that's just a little food for thought. Right. Yes, my hands are getting exposed to lacquer thinner. So I always, try to keep that at a minimum. And then when I'm done all this process, I'll be going to wash my hands with soap and water. That's been doing that for like 30 plus years. I try to keep my practices to the safety extent. Okay, so my gun's all clean. So now I'm gonna throw it back together. All right, so the first thing I do, don't grab my air cap. Get that there. Tighten that up by hand. Put the handle towards your chest and give it a crank, nice and firm, not overpowering, but right to the end, and then just make sure that it's at the end of the thread allowance there. So you just want to make sure it's not going to be loose or anything like that, and it's not going to come loose. Okay, then after I get my nozzle on, I put my needle through, and then I just put it all the way in. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's usually around where I would want to start, and then I fine tune it for whatever I'm spraying after that point. And those were half turns, by the way. Okay, so I'm just gonna take that in spring position. Actually, for what I'm doing next, I'll be doing my spray pattern like this. So, okay, so that's what that.
Stop. I want it.